The Dingers podcast is on the air. I'm your host, Mitch. I'm here with my boys, Jeff and Kevin. I feel like we all just need to take a breath. 3, 2, 1. All right. Yes, the Cubs have not won since we have last recorded. Last Monday night versus the Rockies.
It's no bueno.
So this last week, they have went 1-6. They lost 2 of 3 to the Rockies and then got swept by the DEBACLE and played poorly against the DEBACLE for the second straight series. This is going to be it's going to be a tough one. Tough episode, but we're hopefully by the end of the episode, we will provide a little bit of a glimpse of hope and try to get you guys feeling a little bit better. That's our goal tonight, right? That should be our goal, that we can feel a little bit better. We can't be disappointed today because there's been no Cubs game. So this is a opportunity for us to get back right, just like the Cubs. Jeff, what do you recommend that they need to do during this off day?
I think they need to go to a shaker bar. Just blow off some steam. Just go to a strip club.
Is that what you did today?
Make pain. Yeah, oh yeah. You gotta have your own slump buster. Try anything.
Slump buster.
Whatever.
Nice.
How are you, Kevin? Doing well?
I'm doing okay. We had a long day at work today, but it's all right. It's all right. I'm doing okay. I don't know. Back in April, we wanted to play meaningful baseball in September. Welcome to meaningful baseball in September. I feel like we've said that a few weeks now. Like, hey guys, it comes wins, losses. Do I want the losses? No. Why would I want losses? Also, I was just, as you were bringing up that, that they haven't won since we recorded last. They've had 2 off days in like a week.
They have.
Like, what is we got to get the scheduling stuff figured out. We go like, 22 games in a row with no off days. And then back here, we got 2 in 1 week.
Yeah, so we can't blame like the 2018 where it seemed like all of August and September we had no off days and we were just limping into the playoffs and we lost and had to play a 1-game play-in versus the Brewers and ended up losing because we were so tired. It's like,
is that the year that Anthony Rizzo wore his uniform on the plane?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They
had that makeup game. The makeup game at the Nationals.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right.
But man, it's like that. Like, and this team does look tired. But like, I don't want to use that as excuse because that seems like these guys shouldn't be tired. Dansby Swanson has spent time on the IL, which is unheard of. He hasn't played 162 like he normally does. Belly has spent time on the IL. Rest from games. Seiya spent time on the IL. Rest from games. We've had a ton of players. Nico has spent time on the IL, had rest from games. They haven't played every single game. The only guys that might be a little bit taxed where I could give a little bit of a little bit of break is the bullpen because they've been the top 3 guys, which were the top 3 guys the whole season, are not the top guys now because they were overworked, like especially during our run to get back in this thing. Like we leaned on them hard. And so
I wonder how many slumps Cal Ripken played through during that streak.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
How many 5-game losing streaks did he play through?
Right.
He was on Baltimore, and they were all right during that stretch.
I imagine the 80s, they were pretty sound fundamental team, but in the 90s, they weren't that great.
No.
Yeah.
You guys just keep playing. Sometimes you got to play 2.
And like you said, Mitch, it's not like they're going out there trying to lose games.
No.
That nobody goes out there not wanting to compete. And I was just looking at, our last 8 games. We only got shut out once. We're putting up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 runs. And I'm looking at the scores. Unfortunately, we're giving up more than that. That's kind of how scoring works, according to John Madden. Yeah, unfortunately, but I don't know. It just seems like it's like people are flipping tables and the season's over. We're going to walk away from this team. This team hasn't given up. They're still fighting. They're still going at it. We got Assad pitching tomorrow. Got Steele, got Hendricks.
But that's what like really hurts is there they went and they had Steele and Assad and Hendricks pitch the last week against really poor pitching, and the bats went dead.
Oh yeah.
And they've been pretty dead for a while, and that's
Well, the shitty thing is like Steele's last outing wasn't like a typical outing. Like he gave up 3 in the first.
yeah, he gave up 2 3-run home runs.
That's not a typical game for him. I don't think Hendricks was that crisp in his start, even though I think when he left, it was still a winnable ball game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 3 runs. We faced bad pitching. We didn't get the best out of our pitching staff, and nobody could put a ball in play or hit a ball not at a defender. So it's rough.
It's frustrating because they couldn't take care of business against the team that is directly behind them, chasing them, and against their horrible pitching. It's not like we were facing their 1 again. We were facing their like 5, 6, 7. We were facing Zach Davies, PFAD.
How do we not push a run across until the 5th inning on a Zach Davies start? How pitiful is that?
Jeez. I feel like all the Cubs players should be fined by Jed Hoyer for that alone. Like just fine. Like, no, you owe me $100. Like,
yeah.
You should at least give back at least $100 of your paycheck for 100. That.
No.
And it's not even like Davies is having a good season.
No,
his ERA is like almost 7
they not
or
only
something.
Be fined, but the pregame meal should be like bologna sandwiches.
There you go.
Thick cut bologna sandwiches too.
Crust still on. They don't deserve
Remember that scene in Bull Durham when they were on that huge losing streak and Kevin Costner comes in and joins the team and the manager's like, what do I do with these guys? You gotta scare them. And goes into the shower and throws all the bats at them.
Yeah.
Calls them lollygaggers.
By the way, that's every morning at CrossFit and Jeff with the PVC pipes chucking it at folks who are talking while he's supposed to be talking. By the way, he's not supposed to be talking. He just does. But he just chucks the PVC and yells lollygaggers.
Not true.
Big picture here. Why is this team struggling so bad right now? Why do you think, Kevin?
I think it's hitting. I mean, we had the couple stretches earlier this year where it would seem like we had 2 of the 3 phases of the game working well. And right now we have an exhausted back end of the bullpen. Starting pitching seems to be, they're playing the game as well as they can at this point too, but we're not getting the situational hitting outside of that 13 inning game, 14 inning game against Arizona. 15. Yeah. I mean, outside of that, we're not pushing the runs across like we have. For me, the way I see it, we're not quite getting, I don't know. It's one of those, we're not getting quite enough run support in the games where we should be getting it.
What's up for you, Jeff?
Me? I'm kind of blaming our Kevin, what do you tell me? We were 2-8 in our last 10 games this morning.
Yeah.
To me, it does suck that it's happening at the time that it's happening when we're trying to make that push and maybe try to get the division. But it's to me, it's like the flow of the season. Like we were so hot coming out of the All-Star break, and at some point, I knew that I was expecting a cool off, and I think we're getting it now, and that's what it is. So I think they're going to benefit from today's off day, and I think they're going to come back a little more refreshed tomorrow. And to be honest, it doesn't bother me if they don't win the division, but if they make the playoffs and they're hot at the right time, they could be this season's version of the Phillies from last year. And then it'll be all right.
Yeah, for me.
What do you think?
For me, when this team played at its best, the offense was leading the charge. In late July and early August, they were a nightmare for any right-handed pitcher. Talkman was a stud. Belly was out of this world. Happ was hitting the ball. Swanson was leading the team with his bat. They were all hitting at the same time. Even like Jan Gomes was hot. Madrigal was putting the ball in play when you needed it, coming off the key hit. So they were just a juggernaut from 1 through 9, and they've almost resorted back to their May hitting when they were really struggling. Like Ross even tried to mix it up this week and move Hap to the leadoff spot, which he did perform pretty well. But the rest were just silent. At the end of the day, they're just not scoring enough runs. Like they're not scoring runs. And we've had pitchers pitch some pretty good ball games over the course of the last 2 weeks. And without any in the win column.
I think Kevin, what was it? You say that we shut out 1 game in the last 10?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So I think I remember looking at the box score for that game and we're, like runners left in scoring position. I think it said 3. So to be honest, we had a shot at plating 3 runs in 9 innings in a game. That's no bueno. Can't have that.
I mean, the reason why we're on the outside now looking in, because now we are technically right now mathematically out, not mathematically out of the playoffs, but if the season ended today, we would lose as a tiebreaker to the Marlins and they would get in. And I know a lot of people would like to blame Ross, and you can be mad at maybe the bullpen struggling. You can be mad maybe at the injuries that have happened towards the end with our bullpen. But at the end of the day, it's the offense. When we've struggled throughout this whole season, it's always been because our offense is not provided. Our pitching has been pretty consistent. Even when Tyone was off, then Smiley was hot, and then they just kind of flip-flopped. They've been really the starting pitching have been pretty consistent as a unit 5 across. Even when we brought up Wicks and we brought up some other guys, we brought up Assad, it stayed pretty consistent. It's been the offense when we've gone through a cold stretch and we've struggled. It's been because of our offense not scoring. Even if you look before the London series and we got hot for 2 weeks, we were hitting the ball. We were putting the ball in play and playing some small ball even before then. I don't know. Do you think this team just ran out of steam? Is that it? They put together a stretch since I would say All-Star break, and playing that many pressure cook games does wear on people. Would you say that's it? What do you think, Jeff?
Oh, I'm sure that's definitely weighing on their mind when they're playing so many meaningful series against people that are either trying to play for a wild card spot like they are, or even their own division. Christ, who were we behind? The Reds and the Brewers coming out of the break. So we played series against.
We were 10 games back of Milwaukee, and I can't remember how many games under 500 we were, but we were quite a few under 500.
Yeah, I mean that's going to wear you thin. Thinking about, we can't lose too many against going head to head against teams that we're trying to compete for the division.
Yeah, I mean you're playing October baseball in July.
Yeah, I mean it is high stressful. I mean, I don't know if. I really hope that this off day, everybody gets a breather and kind of mentally resets. I mean, I don't know, how do you keep 25, 26 guys? Well, I guess there's the expansion. How do you keep them all positive all the time? You know what I mean? There's just.
But that's the job of Ross, and that's
right. That
hopefully,
is his job.
Hopefully, he did something this off day to get him set. I know ever since they had the fantasy football draft, the team draft, they had their fantasy football league draft, they played horrible. So I don't know what happened that night. I don't know if if we have another Tommy Pham incident, but in-house, and somebody drop somebody on waivers when they weren't
Somebody-
supposed to
He was
already,
real pissed about their
or
team.
somebody drafted out of order, or somebody like
Somebody
drafted
grabbed the
guy-
Bears defense and they're just not doing well.
Yeah, I don't know, but since that night of the fantasy draft, the Cubs fantasy draft, they have not been playing good baseball. So I don't know.
And if you look back, I was just interested in looking at this. Outside of Colorado, the last time they played a team kind of out of the playoff hunt was August 27th. So they went August 27th to the Colorado series in a meat grinder, which we knew it was going to be. It was Milwaukee, Reds, Giants, Arizona, Colorado, Arizona. I mean, they've had to weather pretty much a storm of teams that are in the mix, which with the expanded playoffs, there's more teams in the mix, more teams pushing. It's good for baseball, good baseball watching. Now we have 2 back-to-back series against Pittsburgh, against Colorado. Hopefully we can pick up a bunch of those. Also a bunch of those at home before we finish on the road with another meat grinder to end the season. But I don't know. I would guess they're probably pretty tired. They're probably pretty tired of seeing a lot of like the same teams. I mean, they just played 7 games against Arizona with a 3-game set against Colorado in the middle. Like,
Yeah, and I know even 2 weeks ago when things were looking really good and you're like, okay, this team's probably going to make the playoffs. In the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, it's going to be fun to make the playoffs. But kind of like in 2015, you didn't expect them to like go win the World Series. Like I'll be honest, in 2015, like even with Jake Arrieta, you're like, yeah, we can go if we get past the Cardinals. This is like the season. This is awesome. Yeah, we could probably beat the Mets, but like if we didn't, we would still be happy. And that's where I was kind of sitting like, yeah, do I think we're going to win the World Series? If we had to face the Braves in the playoffs, I don't think we're going to win the Braves. If we had to face the Astros in the World Series, like I don't think we'd. But when I look at this team, they should be making the playoffs. You have Cody Bellinger, he has a ring. Dansby Swanson, he has a ring. You have David Ross, who's been on countless playoff teams and World Series teams.
Yeah.
But I would still say at the end of the day, this team is kind of like the 2015 team where, and I'll use the phrase that I've heard Deion Sanders, because I love Deion Sanders. Side note, like if you've listened to any Deion Sanders lately, like I would run through a brick wall for Deion Sanders if he was my coach. Like I love it. Like, I don't know. I've watched some now, Keller. I think I'm like the rest of the football that they like the Buffaloes now.
right.
They're Keller Buffalo fan. But anyway, but he says like we're 1 dog away. We're like 1 or 2 dogs away from making a run at the national championship. He would even say that now. Like this team's good, but we're still like 1 or 2 dogs. And I'll say that with the Cubs. Like they're 1 or 2 dogs away. Like guys that like have it. Like when you have Nick Madrigal, like he's great. He's a great role player. Like he would be great off the bench to provide pinch hit and put the ball in play. Like, but we're missing like when you look at that Braves offense, there's like it's a juggernaut from 1 through 9. Like it's pitches work.
It's like scary when they throw up their lineup and put their OPS.
Yeah.
Or their slug, and I'm like, Jesus, everyone's north of 700.
And then even like the Dodgers, like when you have Freddie Freeman and Mookie, and like they're half their guys are hurt. Like their pitching isn't great, but like they're stacked. And so I would say the Cubs, like it's kind of like I'm feeling like the 2015. Like I just want to make the playoffs anyway. How? And I can't even have that take the whole time of like going for the division. Yeah, winning the division would be great. But I just want him to like just get into the playoffs, and then hopefully that encourages Jed to really go after it in this offseason and get the dog that they need to make a push for this next year. Because the future's bright, like especially when you see how Jordan Wicks is pitched. You see an Assad, you see like our pitching development has found it. Like Justin Steele has been the man who we've wanted him to be. Like we have young guys like built up. If we can re-sign Bellinger and you have Dansby there, you have Nico there, like you have a foundation where if you get one more, like that's all it takes to really like cement yourself in the division of like, nope, this is ours. Kind of like we did in 2016. Nope, this is our division. And it will be for the next couple of years. Like we need that one guy.
I like that analogy. One more dog. Because I see it. Just like you're saying. We've got the guys in the minor leagues that are just kind of gonna be right on the knocking on the door. And they're not just, oh, that's another role player coming up. We've got starting pitching. We've got nasty relievers sitting in the, what was it? I saw, I'm going to lose track. I saw somewhere, or maybe you talked about it last week. Like our minor league system throws gas. Like we have so much heat in our minor leagues. And then it was like heat and stuff indexes are off the charts, like second in the league for minor league based on miles per hour and rotation spin. And stuff, and what do they call it? Stuff. Jake would know all these numbers, but that's all waiting in the minor leagues. That's just gonna percolate up another year next year as we go to make a push. I hope we make. I hope we make the playoffs. No one's ever gonna say we hope we don't. I hope we make some noise. We get some attention. I remember the off season between 2015 and 2016. All ESPN was talking about was the Cubs, because everybody kind of knew this was going to be the year. This was going to be a push. I'd love to see it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not ready to give up yet on where we currently are at.
No.
And
you still got, 14 days of baseball to be played in the regular season? Got plenty of time.
And what did we say last week? They needed to win. So with that, there was, 17 games left last week when we said 1, 2, 3, 4.
There was 18. And we needed
18. Yeah, we said 18 and we had to, win 12? 10 to 12?
Between 10 and 12.
Okay. Well, we're 1-6 in that.
Just got to win 11 of these games.
That's all we got to do.
11
or 9.
We got to go 11 of 12 left. 11 of 14, so we can lose 2 left to get there. How confident are we feeling? And do you still think we need to win out of these next games 11 of or 10 of 12?
No, I don't think we need to win 10 of 12. Well, because we're going to get help from other teams. Like, not everybody we're competing against is going to win out. But we need to take advantage and win as many of those 12 games as possible to give ourselves the best opportunity. Maybe 8 of them? Is that crazy?
8. Well, the D-backs have the Giants, Yankees, White Sox, and Astros to finish it.
Well, I mean, we'll get help from probably the Astros and the Giants.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Marlins.
Where are they playing the Yankees at? At home or away?
They're playing the Yankees at New York.
There you go.
That might help.
The Reds have the Twins. They're playing the Twins. They won tonight versus the Twins.
Fuck.
7-3. They play the Twins, the Pirates, the Guardians, and the Cardinals. Man, that's a pretty nice schedule to end.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
That's a cakewalk.
Yeah, and the Marlins play the Mets, the Brewers, the Mets again, and the Pirates.
That's a pretty easy schedule.
Yeah, outside the Brewers.
And then we play
Pittsburgh, Colorado, Braves, and Brewers.
So the last 6 games are going to suck. They're going to be hard.
It means that there's even more pressure. Like not like last week, we had a lot of pressure. Like, hey, we need to win these versus the Rockies. Now it's even more so. We need to win these against the Rockies and the Pirates. Like,
yeah, we need like series sweeps against the Pirates and the Rockies, and hopefully we take 2 or 3 from each of the Brewers and the Braves.
But the tough thing is too, it's like you're looking at these other teams, and on paper, the Cubs are the better team. Like I'm sorry, the Cubs are better than the Reds. They are. They just are. They have better players than the Reds. They have better pitching than the Reds. You look at the Marlins, like the Cubs have a better team than the Reds or than the Marlins.
Oh yeah.
D-backs are I like the D-backs lineup. 1 through 6, they're pretty stacked 1 through 6. They have a lot of guys that can do some damage in that lineup. But their pitching isn't great. They have two horses, and then like they're pretty weak. I mean, they sure made the Cubs bats look weak, but like you look at the lineups and you compare them, like the Cubs are the best team. The thing is, it's 162 and it's a marathon, and sometimes the best teams, even after 162, injuries happen, personalities happen, something goes wrong and derails a team.
Well, it's not often that the team with the best record wins the World Series.
Yep, that too.
Right.
But the 2016 Chicago Cubs did.
They did. And they even came back from a 3-1 deficit.
Yep. Yeah, that they did.
Thanks,
that they
Cleveland.
did.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that happening.
I mean, that was a daunting task, but they did it.
Yeah, they did it.
Fine.
So I feel like we need a little bit of like a rah-rah speech, you know? Do you feel like you need like, I don't know, maybe it's because I've been listening to Deion Sanders like pregame speeches and they get me hyped. And so I feel like we need a rah-rah speech. Jeff, could you do a rah-rah speech?
I don't know if I could do a rah-rah speech, but what about you? If I try to do one, it's going to sound like John Belushi in Animal House.
Yes, it will.
Sense.
It's going to be mostly about food or beer, maybe both. And it's also going to end in a titty bar.
Okay, I'll give my best.
Maybe I should make a lasagna.
That would.
I was thinking about that, Jeff. You're going to need to take one for the team.
Yeah, get a lasagna going. All right.
Let's hear it, Mitch.
All right, so guys, we've hit a rough patch lately. It's kind of felt like a little bit of a roller coaster of emotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Fat Lady hasn't sung. This is far from over. Yeah, we've lost 5 games in a row. And our once promising playoff picture has taken a little bit of a hit. But I want to remind you, there's 12 games left. 12 opportunities for our boys in blue to show up. And it's times like these that it's easy to throw in the towel. It's easy to move on, easy to give up, but not us. No, us Cubs fans, we've persevered. We know what it's like to persevere. We've gone through droughts that have lasted generations. We've celebrated historic victories that have brought us to tears. We face adversity, but let me remind you, once we were down 3-1 to Cleveland before winning it all. That's the beauty of baseball. It's a marathon, not a sprint. In this Cubs team, we believe in miracles, just like we did in 2016. Some of you didn't, but this guy did. These guys did. So, let's keep the faith. Let's wave our flags. Let's sing Go Cubs Go these next 6 games at Wrigley so loud that they hear us in Cincinnati, in Miami, and in Arizona. And they're scared to even come and challenge us. So let's fly the W. Let's push into the playoffs because I ain't giving up. This ain't over. 12 games. We can do this. There it is. There's my little. Did I make you cry, Jeff?
A little bit. Oh, on another note, so you both have probably heard Billy Joel's song "We Didn't Start the Fire."
Yeah.
There is a new version out. I heard it today on the radio, and some of the lyrics were changed to "The Cubs will win it all again." I heard that today.
I like it. I like Scott's comment down there. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
No.
Sure wasn't, folks. Sure wasn't.
It's over when we decide it's over.
Yes, it ain't over. I know it's tough. And I know, like, I put this tweet out last week that I wasn't on Twitter as much back in 2016 as I am now. But now, for those people that were, now I know what type of person you were when we were down 3-1. You were the type that was giving up on the Cubs and had no belief that they were going to come back and win the World Series. You're showing your true signs there, folks. So let's get it together. I don't want to tell you how to Cub and how to fan, but
we see you.
We see you.
We see you. We see you.
So, but believe.
Get your lasagna. Get your deep dish pizza.
And I get your frustrations.
Get your Chicago
angry.
dogs. Get to the ballpark. Sing some Go Cubs Go. Slap somebody who's doing the wave.
Like, okay, so Saturday I was pretty upset. Like that was a game.
Oh man.
Long game. Tough. A lot of things went wrong. We had some horrible base running. We had some horrible just calls not go our way, some bad defense, and then to lose that the way we did. I didn't want to watch Sunday's game. I didn't at all. And so my son asked me to take him youth hunting, deer hunting, because the youth season just started here in Iowa. And so I was like, yeah, maybe that'll be really good. Like I just will take my mind off of it. Won't watch the game. But you know what? We're sitting there in the blind. Some deer out in front of us, and I decided to put it in the Cubs game. And then right away we get down 3-0. Right away. But then a buck walked out in front of us. My son dropped him.
Nice.
And so, you know what? Maybe like today is that was a good, like after that, I turned the game off and I was like, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to enjoy being with my family, being with my son, like taking it all in, not going to let it get to me. Today was a good, like, reset button. Maybe that's what the Cubs did. Maybe they found something. Hopefully, like Jeff said, a titty bar. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they played a giant, like all team tournament of Mario Kart. I mean, they dressed up like it. Maybe they just had to get
maybe.
We would play epic matches of Halo, 4-on-4 Halo back in college. Maybe they had to just break out some 007, some N64.
There you go,
something.
I'm some of those titty bar. A lot of what Kevin's saying is just not my cup of tea.
We know, Jeff.
I mean, the junior high me would have loved that.
Right?
But yeah, so I don't know. I this is gonna be a little bit shorter episode just because, I mean, what more can you say? Like, yeah, we can be frustrated and we are. I'm frustrated, but you know what? Like, there's nothing I can do, and I've kind of like the last couple of years tried to like really focus on not getting angry on things that I can't control. I can't control this. In a lot of sports, we can't control. We just got to enjoy more at the times when they're playing well. And so I'm trying to do that. And I still believe that this team has a great opportunity ahead for them, even though they kind of lost being in control of it themselves. Because when they were up 4 in the wild card, they had control. And now they don't. Now it's like they have to win plus rely on others to beat the teams that they're in the chase with. And so that's never a good place to be in, but hopefully they can just win. Like we've said for the last 2 months, just keep winning. Just keep winning. If they just keep winning, then everything takes care of itself. So
winning cures all. A couple wins, we'll be right back in this.
Jeff, do you have anything more?
Well, yeah, I mean, don't be giving up on the team already. I mean, it's really irritating when you hit Twitter and everything. It's like everyone's so negative. I'll tell you what, there's one time where I really wanted to give up, but I couldn't give up because I got myself into a nasty pickle. All right. It's like 9 years ago, maybe 10. I'm recovering from a broken leg. Like I'm just out of my cast. I have so much atrophy in my left leg that I can barely go up the stairs without assistance, like with a handrail or something. So my buddies dragged me out because I hadn't been out forever, right? I drive over to Ames. I meet him at my buddy's shop. We get in a big van. And we're drinking like crazy. Just like a bunch of assholes. And at the end of the night, my car was just as far away from me as my house was. So instead of taking a right and walking 8 miles through Ames to get to my car, because it was an hour and 45-minute wait for a cab, Uber wasn't around then, right? I took a left and headed to Nevada. And I tripped on foot. On foot. 2 o'clock in the morning. Started hoofing it. And it was about the time that they were widening the road by that new biorefinery fuel place. I went tripping through that construction site. And by the time I got home, 3 hours later, my foot was so big, I had to cut my shoe to get my foot out of it. But I didn't give up, damn it. I got home that night. And I went to bed and I slept most of that Sunday.
You're the definition of perseverance and grit, Jeff.
Right.
All that for a night out of the town, just to woof it home.
And then I called my buddies and said, "Why'd you leave me?" They're like, "Well, you're talking to that chick." I said, "I'm not taking any broad home from that bar. You know that's my rule."
Oh my! There's another Jeffrey story.
Any last parting words, Kevin?
Hey, did you guys watch Ted Lasso? If you haven't, I'm sure you've seen the sign.
Believe. Slap it.
Yeah. Love it.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll be back at it next week, and hopefully we're in a good spot. It'll be an off day next Monday as well for our Cubbies. They've had quite a few off days in the September. It's kind of weird. Off day on the 25th. Hopefully the next time we're talking, they have won 6 in a row, and things are looking good as we face the Braves, and they're going to be resting all their players. I've contacted Ronald Acuna. He said he's going to sit those 3 days. Matt Olsman sent me a text message. He said he's going to rest. Strider, he's like, my arm, I might throw 1 inning, but then I'm just going to peace out. Freed, he's like, I know you guys haven't been hitting lefties very well. He called me and he's like, yeah, I want the Cubs to make the playoffs too. I'm a diehard Cubs fan. He's not going to pitch, so it'll turn into 9 games real fast. 9 wins in a row by our Cubs. Here we go. All right, thanks for listening. This is episode 138 of the Dingers podcast. If you haven't, make sure that you are subscribed to the On Tap Sports Network YouTube channel, and just go check out ontapsportsnet.com, where you can get all the greatest articles on your Chicago sports teams, Bears, Bulls, the Bears. I mean, even though they're struggling, there's still some great articles out there to read about your struggling Bears. White Sox, there too, you can read about and be in misery with the Bears fans. But yeah, go check out On Tap Sports Network. Go check out our buddies at Cubbies on Tap, and yeah, give them a listen. They're doing great stuff with pre and post, and then they do kind of their weekly recap as well. But the boys over there are doing awesome things, so go check them out. But yeah, follow us on Twitter or on X or whatever it is, at Dinger Cubs, and make sure you're interacting with us on there. So thanks for listening. And that does it for this episode of the Dingers podcast. Go Cubs.
Whoa, Jeff.